this is self-power Buddhism, provisional Buddhism. This is the Buddhism in which people like us, okay, people take the initiative to realize our Buddhahood. Here we think we can awaken. Okay? We can awaken bodhicitta by ourselves, and we can engage in the practices based upon Sattva bodhicitta. Okay? So the Shinran called this type of Buddhism two vehicles, or three vehicles. And Shinran believed that Shakyamuni taught these teachings as a preparation, as an expedient means to guide us people to this place. So it's a preparatory stages. Okay? According, he called it the stages of expedient means. Okay? And Shinran called these two vehicles or three vehicles. And he called this style Shinshu the one vehicle. Particularly, he used the word vow-based one vehicle or one Buddha vehicle. Okay? So anyway, these people, we awaken this self-power, engage in practice, and we believe we can attain wonderful goals, such as growth in Pure Land or Buddhahood. Okay? That's what Shinran believed. Okay? But he eventually moved to another type of Buddhism. So this is the other power Buddhism, the Buddhism in which the Buddha, okay, not people, Buddha takes the initiative to realize the Buddhahood of all sentient beings. And Shinran called this one vehicle, or the vow-based one vehicle, one Buddha vehicle. Okay? And here, okay, this Buddhism, basic features of this Buddhism is, since the Buddha knows, so the Buddha takes initiative, Buddha knows that people cannot liberate themselves with the self-power bodhicitta. So Buddha takes the initiative to liberate us. This is the kind of story Dharmakara story means. Okay? So before we recognize the impossibility of attaining Buddhahood through the self-power bodhicitta, Buddha has already prepared or figured out a way to liberate people and has already given it to them or to us. Amida Buddha is like a doctor who has already prepared a medicine for an incurable sickness and given it to people who are not even aware of having the sickness. Okay, so that's what Shinran tells us. Okay, and we firmly believe in the validity of our bodhicitta. I started from the right start, and I'm engaged in the right meditation practices. Many people are thinking that. Okay, and but we haven't fully examined the basic nature of being. Okay? We have some kind of romantic idea or illusion, unrealistic ideas about what we are or what we want to accomplish. Okay? So before we recognize the serious problem we have, actually we have deep-rooted self-love, and we cannot easily detect it. But Buddha can see the mistake. We have such a deep-rooted egoism or self-love. We cannot see it, so deeply hidden. But Buddha can see it. So Buddha knows it's impossible for people to come up with their desire and try to realize it. From the perspective of the Buddha, the only important issue for people is not the practices, not the practice. The only important issue for the people is, for people like us, is awaken the pure core, the other power bodhicitta. This pure core, the other power bodhicitta is so powerful, so powerful. This is Buddha's mind, so powerful that it could inevitably or necessarily lead you to the fulfillment of Buddhahood. This is not human mind. Human mind is limited. But Buddha's mind, Buddha's aspiration is so powerful. So once you receive it, this powerful aspiration, starting point, leads you to the goal of Buddhahood. There's an element of necessity. necessity. That's what Shinra talks about. If once this starting point is realized, you don't need anything else. That's what Shinra. Okay, okay, that's the first, first issue. That's what I've been talking about. It's kind of summarize the basic difference between two types of human initiatives. This is the Buddha initiative. And next thing I want to discuss is that Shinran's view of bodhisattva dharmakara as a bodhisattva whom a Buddha has become. And in Mahayana Buddhism talks about two types of bodhisattvas. Okay? This is very important. Okay? Maybe you never heard of something like it, but in Mahayana Buddhism, okay, there are two types of bodhisattvas. Okay? So let me read. Okay, the bodhisattva. First one is a bodhisattva. Okay? The bodhisattva, that foolish ordinary person like us, okay, like become. When a foolish ordinary person awakens the bodhicitta, he becomes this type of bodhisattva, okay, the first type of bodhisattva. It is the bodhisattva that we usually think of when we hear the word bodhisattva. I'm sure so far you've been thinking there's only one type of bodhisattva. This is a bodhisattva people like us become. Okay? And actually, Shakyamuni Buddha became this type of bodhisattva when he left his householder's life and became a seeker of enlightenment. He became bodhisattva, seeker of the enlightenment. Okay? But see, there's another bodhisattva that here I mentioned here. Okay? This is the second type of bodhisattva. Okay? The bodhisattva that the Buddha becomes, a Buddha has become. Okay? When a Buddha decides to go back to the world of suffering and save the people there, he becomes this type of bodhisattva. This is called the returning bodhisattva. And Shakyamuni became this type of bodhisattva when he decided to go back to the world of suffering. See? And Buddha became a bodhisattva. The definition of bodhisattva is a person who works in the world of suffering. And Shinran believed, okay, Dharmakara is this second type of bodhisattva. Shinran believed that bodhisattva Dharmakara is this type of bodhisattva. Shinran always uses expressions such as the Tathagata's making vows or Tathagata's five-kalpa meditation. When he talks about Dharmakara's making vows or his five-kalpa, we know Dharmakara is the one who made the vows and who meditated for five-kalpa. But Shinran never says that. Shinran says Buddha's five-kalpa meditation, Buddha's making, Tathagata and Buddha are same words, okay? Tathagata's making vows. Shinran Shonin is very consistent. He doesn't say Bodhisattva Dharmakara made vows, because Bodhisattva Dharmakara is actually a Buddha. If you think Dharmakara is the first type of Bodhisattva, many people think that way. Okay, probably you did. When you read the story of Dharmakara, you think that you should identify yourself with Bodhisattva Dharmakara, and you should identify with him and perform the same type of practice he performed. So you have to emulate the Dharma, the Bodhisattva. That's the way many people think. But Shinran Shonin says that's a wrong way of reading the story of Dharmakara. Shinran Shonin, if you read that way, if you identify yourself with Dharmakara and you think that you should perform the same practices he performed, Shinran call it the wrong way of reading the story, or it's a self-power way of reading Dharmakara story. Okay, so this is very important. Okay, many people make mistake. Shinran never thought he should identify himself with Dharmakara, or he should perform the same practices he performed. Okay. Vasubandhu and Dhamma are saying that the Bodhisattva Dharmakara is the Bodhisattva that a Buddha has become. The only concern Dharmakara has is rescuing people. He is not concerned with his own welfare. Actually, that's the aspiration of Dharmaka. That aspiration is the other part, bodhicitta. So that point, okay, I wanted to discuss. Otherwise, people, some of you may think, oh, we must become Dharmaka. We must perform the same practices he performed. That's the way many people read this sutra. So from the beginning, they are missing the point. Now let's get into the story of Dharmakara. Okay, so now larger sutra consists of two volumes. Okay, we studied mostly we studied today. Okay? We studied the first volume, story of Dharmakara. Okay, so here I want to give you an outline of the story of Bodhisattva Dharmakara. What Shakyamuni wants to tell us, with this story. In this story, Dharmakara, a bodhisattva that a Buddha has become, makes vows to save all sentient beings. The rationale underlying Dharmakara's desire to liberate all sentient beings is this. He knows that all sentient beings who are totally deluded cannot liberate themselves through the self-bodhicitta and the practices that are based upon the bodhicitta. Thus, he believes that the only way to liberate them is through awakening in them the other power, bodhicitta or shinjin, the pure core that is powerful enough to lead them to Buddhahood. Thus, before sentient beings become aware of the impossibility of attaining Buddhahood through the self-power bodhicitta, Dharmakara prepares a way to save them and gives it to them. To save all sentient beings, Dharmakara makes 48 vows. These vows are like prescriptions for curing the incurable sickness of people. Shinran said that among those vows, the three vows, the 17th, 18th, and 11th vows are most important. In the 17th vow, Dharmakara wants to realize the name, a calling voice saying, take refuge in limitless life and limitless life, wisdom and compassion. Specifically, the fulfillment of the 17th vow means the realization of the existence of historical teachers and their teachings. In the 18th vow, he desires that all deluded human beings hear the name and awaken Shinjin pure cause. In the 11th vow, he desires that those who have awakened Shinjin, the true beginning, start to live their lives in a meaningful way and fulfill their lives. So, as a summary, in the conclusion, we can say that the 17th vow is designed to realize medicine, and the 18th vow is designed to realize people's taking this medicine. The 11th vow is designed to realize people's having complete recovery, the complete liberation from the world of suffering. Okay? So anyway, that's the summary. That's what we're going to study. Okay. Now finally we get into the story of Dharmakara. Okay. A king meets a Buddha. This is Dharmakara. Initially, king going upward. Okay, and he meets this Lokesvara Raja. The Lokesvara is his Buddha, his teacher. Okay, and king meets a Buddha and awakens his innermost aspiration, Hongan, for supreme enlightenment. The king's name is changed to Dharmakara. The Bodhisattva Dharmakara is symbol of the innermost aspiration, or the pure core, the other power, bodhicitta or shinjin. Okay? please remember, this story is a fictional story. Okay, it's not the historical record. It's a fiction. So all the characters in this story, are the fictional characters. Okay? So they are literally devices, to show some importance of wisdom and compassion. Okay? And so these characters are the symbols. Symbol means they stand for something, like something for innermost. So Dharmakara symbolizes the pure cause, Hongan, innermost aspiration. So the innermost aspiration, Hongan is real, but the Dharmakara is not real. Okay? It's just fictional device to show the importance of Hongan. Okay? So from the beginning, Dharmakara, being a bodhisattva that the Buddha has become, is exclusively concerned with coming up with a means to liberate all sentient beings. Okay? So Shinran has a very famous verse here. Okay? Shinran says, from the beginning, only concern Dharmakara has is rescuing people. It's not this is not kind of bodhisattva we become. Okay? So Shinran has a famous verse here. When I reflect on the Tathagata's establishment of the vow, I find that he, without abandoning sentient beings in pain and affliction, has taken the directing of virtue to them. Actually, he taken the creation of the name. He wants to give the name to people. He has taken the creation of the name as foremost, thus fulfilling the mind of great compassion. So, as you know, Sambutsuge is one of the most commonly chanted sutras in the Jodo Shinshu temple. So Sambutsuge means verses in praise of the Buddha. So in the first part of the Sambutsuge, Dharmakara praises his teacher. He praises his content, teacher's countenance, his voice, and spiritual contents. Particularly, he praises Buddha's wisdom. Okay? And light is the most important symbolism in the larger sutra. Of course, light stands for wisdom. The wisdom is a consistent theme in the larger sutra. So he meets a teacher with limitless wisdom, limitless light. He praises the teacher's wisdom. And his praise of the teacher reaches its climax when he praises the teacher's wisdom. And he says, his light, his teacher's light, with awe-inspiring glory, shakes the universe of 1,000 million worlds. I aspire, here, word gan, and Hongan says same gan, Hongan, okay, appears first time in this sutra. I aspire to become a Buddha exactly like it, having encountered the powerful light or the powerful wisdom of the teacher. Dharmakara cannot help but awaken his aspiration. Gan. This is the other power bodhicitta. Okay? This is a pure core. Then he concludes this Sambutsuge, okay, with such a powerful statement. Okay? He concludes the Sambutsuge with a verse that expresses his strong determination to seek the Dharma continuously. See, this is such a powerful ending, and this ending, last verse, is so important. Okay? Shows the spiritual essence of Dharma. It clearly shows us what kind of person Dharmakara is. He says, even if I stay in the midst of the most poignant suffering or the worst hell. Original Sanskrit text says worst hell, but Chinese translation says most poignant suffering. Even if I were to stay in the worst hell, I will keep seeking Dharma in the midst of it and will never regret it. See? This shows this Buddha's wisdom that transforms the negative into positive, turning minus into. So this is this kind of phrase, verse, shows us this spirit of Dharmakara, or the content of Buddha's wisdom, wisdom that transforms hell into pure land, worst type of human condition into the most ideal place for learning. Okay, so even if I stay in the midst of the worst hell, I will keep seeking Dharma in the midst of it, and I will never regret it. See, this is such a powerful statement. So every statement, verses, and talking about what kind of person Dharmakara is, what kind of wisdom is going to perfect. After all, Dharmakara becomes the Buddha by the name of limitless life, limitless wisdom. After praising his teacher, Dharmakara requests his teacher to give him instruction about practice. It's natural. Okay? He said, I want to become a Buddha exactly like you. So he risks teaching how he attains Buddhahood or creates a Pure Land. Okay? Then the teacher gives the seeker very short instruction actually, but very important. Okay, so the teacher gives Dharmakara the following instruction. Okay? He says, teacher tells Dharmakara, if one keeps on emptying a great ocean with a pint measure, one will be able to reach the bottom after many kalpas and obtain a wonderful treasure. Likewise, if one sincerely, diligently, and unceasingly seeks the way, one will be able to attain one's goal. What aspiration is there that cannot be realized? Oh, such a wonderful teaching instruction, okay? Dharmakara already said, I will keep on seeking the Dharma forever. And so to this Dharmakara, if we already decide to seek Dharma forever, the only instruction the teacher gives is just virya, continuous learning and seeking. That's the only thing necessary. Okay? You must have aspiration, strong aspiration, keep on seeking. That's the only message he wants to give. Okay? So here Dharmakara teacher tells him that aspiration, the good starting point, the true starting point, pure cause, or hongan, is everything, If one has a hongan aspiration alone, then powerful motivation, that's all you need. If you have strong motivation, then eventual attainment is contained in the initial aspiration. So he says, what aspiration is there that cannot be realized? So you see, this is a kind of theme of the sutra. Okay? The Dharmakara symbolizes this aspiration or the pure cause. If you have this, awaken this pure cause, okay, you don't have to worry about anything. That this passion, the great, powerful initial start will lead you to the ultimate goal without fail. There's elements of necessity of attaining the goal that's contained in the initial motivation. If it's authentic, you don't have to worry about practices. Aspiration becomes the practice. Aspiration becomes the attainment. Okay, this is a very wonderful instruction. And after receiving his teacher's instruction, Dharmakara embarks on the 5 kalpa meditation. Now, receiving instruction from the teacher, he takes up 5 kalpa meditation. The expression 5 kalpa means a long time. Okay, so this story is telling us it took a long time for Dharmakara to come up with the vows or the means to liberate all human beings equally without any practical or intellectual requirements. Simplest and easiest way to liberate. It took a long time for Dharmakara to come with that. To cure the curable sickness, you don't spend so much time in coming up with the medicine. To cure the curable sickness, it doesn't require so much time to come up with the medicine. But to find a way to cure the incurable sickness takes a long time to come up with the medicine. Now, vow making. After 5 kalpa meditation, Dharmakar now has clear ideas concerning the Buddhahood he wants to create and concerning the Buddha land he wants to realize. So the teacher tells Dharmakara, now it's time for you to proclaim your aspiration. So spell out your aspiration with words, proclaim it. And then he Dharmakara spells out 48 vows. So anyway, coming out of the Kalpa meditation, Dharmakara expounds his 48 vows. According to Shinran, among 48 vows, 3 vows, 17, 18, and 11 are the most important. I'm presenting here Shinran's view of this story, okay? Many people wrote commentary on the larger sutta, but Shinran's interpretation is very much different from other teachers. Okay? So that according to Shinran, 3 vows out of 48 vows are most important. There's 17, 18, and 11. And Shinran called these three primal vows, 3 selected primal vows. Honen said 18th vow alone is important. Honen called this vow, 18th vow alone, important. So Shinran is different from Honen. Honen called this 18th vow the king vow. And the other 47 vows are subject vows, okay? Second vows are secondary important. The 18th vow alone, king vow. Okay, that's how Honen said. Okay. Now, okay, vows are made at the start. Okay, he makes vows. Vows are expression of desires. Okay, desire. So he's hoping to, so he says, when I become a Buddha, I want these vows realized in the historical context. If these vows are not realized, I will not become a Buddha. So these are the wishes. He vows are wishes, aspiration. Okay. So he has to have practice here. After that, okay, then he becomes Buddha and he creates Pure Land. Okay. So anyway, so now let us see what he desires in those 3 vows. Okay, 3 vows. Let me just read through. Okay. In the 17th vow, in which Dharmakara desires to realize the name, okay, simplest means to save all people without any practical requirement, without any moral requirement. Okay. In other words, he desires to come up with a powerful medicine, one that immediately cures uncurable sickness. Okay, now we read the vow, okay, 17th vow says, if when I attain Buddhahood, that countless Buddhas throughout the world in the 10 quarters do not all praise and say my name, may I not attain supreme enlightenment. This is the 17th vow, okay. Dharmakara knows that all people are so deeply immersed in delusion that they cannot save themselves through the self-power bodhicitta and the practices based on it. Thus, he desires to have the name realized as a means by which he awakens in those people the other power bodhicitta, the pure cause. Okay. And I've been telling you, okay, it's kind of redundant, but the name means Namami Dabutsu, a calling voice saying, come to the Buddha's non-dualistic wisdom. In the 17th vow, Dharmakara desires that historical teachers, okay, Buddha's in 10 directions, or 10 quarters means, refers to the historical teachers. He wants them to appear, and they praise the name. Name and words, virtues are synonymous. Okay. So say the name and praise the virtues means the same thing. Virtues, okay. Virtues, many perfect Dharma, perfect many virtues here, virtues, okay. But wisdom and compassion are the 2 most important virtues. Okay. The name Namu Amida Butsu contains limitless wisdom, limitless compassion. The virtues and the name are synonymous. Then next one is this 18th vow, okay? In the 18th vow, Dharmaka desires that all people awaken the pure cause, Shinjin, by hearing the name that is said by historical teachers. In other words, he desired that the incurable sickness, incurably sick, take the medicine and experience a sign of recovery of health. Okay, now we read the 18th vow, okay? 18th vow. If when I attain Buddhahood, the sentient beings of the 10 quarters with sincere mind, this is called Shishin, original word, and trusting, Shingyo, desiring to be born, Yokusho. These three concepts are known as the threefold mind. The threefold mind. Threefold mind and Shinjin are synonymous. And the thinking of me, perhaps 10 times. This was the original Sanskrit text, Indian text says, thinking of me. But Chinese masters, okay, like Shantao and Daocho and Honen interpret this thinking of me as saying the name, okay, saying the name at least 10 times. Okay. And to not be born there, may I not attain the supreme enlightenment. Excluded are those who commit the 5 grave offenses and those who slander the right Dharma. Okay. So anyway, I put a note here, okay. So I underlined two sections in the 18th vow, okay. You have 1-star section and the 2-star sections, okay. So the 1-star section is the place where Shinran focused on this underlying section, the section that talks about the threefold mind, okay, or Shinjin. And Shinran says, this is the most important part of the 18th vow, okay, because people awaken this Shinjin here. But Honen, okay, Honen has emphasis on that section I indicated with 2 stars. Honen, the founder of Jodo Shin, focused on this underlying section, the section that talks about the practice. Shinran focused on this 18th vow, the Shinjin aspect, Shinjin part of the 18th vow. That's why Shinran called this 18th vow, vow of Shinjin. But Honen Shonin paid attention to the practice part of 18th vow, okay, saying the name at least 10 times. Okay. So the Honen identified the section that talks about the practice of saying the name. And now 11th vow, okay, 11th vow. In the 11th vow, Dharmaka desires that all people complete and fulfill the Buddhist path as well as their lives. In other words, he desires to give all people complete recovery of health. Medicine, taking medicine, complete recovery of health. Okay. So 11th vow says, okay, 11th vow says, if when I attain Buddhahood, the human beings and devas in my land do not dwell among the truly settled and necessarily attain Nirvana, may I not attain the supreme enlightenment. So here, Dharmaka desires that all people immediately have the twofold attainment. 11th vow talks about twofold attainment. The stage of the truly settled. Okay. That's a true beginning of human life. And eventual attainment to parinirvana, the true ending or fulfillment of human life. He desires that people start to live their lives in a very powerful and creative way. See, this is the process of having the sickness be cured, recovery. This is the recovery. Medicine, taking medicine, immediately recovery process. You live such a powerful life. And when you die, you perfect human life. Perfecting human life, fulfilling human life is described as becoming a Buddha. In Buddhism, becoming a Buddha means completing your life. You end your life with the idea that I fulfilled my life, completed my. I don't need any more life after death. This is the parinirvana, becoming a Buddha. Full stop. That's how we should live. That's what the Shakyamuni and Shinran teach us. Okay? Dharmakara is, in a sense, very kind. Okay, if you read 48 vows, you don't know what are the important vows Dharmakara really wants to emphasize. I said these are three vows, but as far as Dharmakara is concerned, this is the most important. As far as we are concerned, this is the most important vow. Okay? As far as Dharmakara is concerned, coming up with some medicine means to liberation. This is the most important one. As far as our side is concerned, how we can be saved, then hearing and shinjin are the most important. So after proclaiming 48 vows, Dharmakara want to say, this is the most important vow I want to realize. If you read that Jusege, okay, he talks about three vows. I want to perfect wisdom, limitless wisdom. I want to perfect the limitless compassion. And I want to realize this name that encompasses two virtues, wisdom and compassion. Okay? So 12, 13, and 17 are the most important vows as far as Dharmakara is concerned, because this is what he wanted to do. Medicine is the main concern. Okay? The 18th vow is the most important vow for human beings outside. Okay? You understand that? So these three vows, 12, 13, and Shinran called these three vows the vow of great compassion. He never used this word great compassion, vow of great compassion, in terms of other vows. Okay? Only these three, 12, 13, and here. Okay? He called these three the three vows of great compassion. And he called the 17, 18, either three primary vows, or three selected primary vows. Okay? These are the most important. But as far as this is concerned, content of this is Amitabha, Amitayus. Amida, okay? Namu Amidavus, come to Amida Buddha means come to Amitabha, Amitayus. So these are the content of this name. They come to Amitabha, Amitayus. After making his vows, Dharmakara engaged in practice designed to perfect wisdom. Making vows is like making a drawing or blueprint for a building. Now Dharmakara has taken up the actual construction work. This actual construction work is practice, actualization of his desires, his vows. His practice is called eternal practice. Then content of Dharmakara's practice. Okay, so it's obvious. Okay? His main concern is perfecting his wisdom. Okay, he wants to become the limitless wisdom. That's his name. Okay, limitless light. He wants to realize his name. Okay, name, limitless wisdom, limitless compassion. But limitless wisdom is the most important thing. So he engaged the 6 parameter practices. The goal of 6 parameter practices is wisdom. And Samantabhadra practices. Okay, the 2 types of practice, making offering to Buddhas. This is the practice to perfect visiting many Buddhas, as many as sand grains of Ganges River. So visiting teacher, receiving wisdom, he perfect his limitless wisdom, 12th vow. Then he perfect this enlightening people, sentient beings. He share wisdom with other people, all sentient beings. That's the perfection of the compassion. That's the 13th vow. Shinran describes this nature of this practice this way. Okay? Shinran's words about the Dharmakara's practice. Okay? Shinran says, we are encouraged to enter the ocean of wisdom that is realized by aspiration of the Buddha of unhindered light. Dharma, Amida's name is also called limitless light and also called unhindered light. Okay, unhindered light. And for the Buddha's form is a light of wisdom. And Shinran says, remarkable words here. Okay, Shinran says, Dharmakara made this form, okay, this limitless light or unhindered light, by collecting the wisdom of all the Buddhas in the 10 quarters. So in this process, he's visiting many Buddhas, as many and the sand grains of the Ganges River, and he's receiving this wisdom from them. He says, Shinran says, collecting wisdom from the Buddhas in 10 quarters. So when we say Amida symbolizes limitless wisdom, so Amida didn't, or Dharmakara or Amida didn't create any of their own wisdom. All the wisdom he has, wisdom he received from Buddha. He heard the teaching from and received. So this is limitless wisdom, the unhindered wisdom is a form. This form is created by Dharmakara by collecting the wisdom from many Buddhas, as many as sand grains, because there are limitless number of Buddhas. He perfects the limitless wisdom. Okay, that's how his name comes into being. So this is very important. He is just hearing and collecting wisdom from the teachers. Okay? Anyway, and then Sutta talks about the realization of Dharmakara's Buddhahood and his Buddha land. Okay? Then the Sutta talks about the fulfillment of the 48 vows. It talks about all kinds of adornment of the Pure Land and the Amida Buddha. The word adornment means verbalization or symbolization. The whole story is a symbolic representation of the spirit of Buddhahood. Okay? So the word adornment means verbalization or symbolization. The sutra described the Dharmakara's wonderful virtues. These are invisible. Okay? Virtues are invisible spiritual qualities, okay? Like wisdom, compassion. It's invisible. Okay? But the sutra uses all kinds of words or symbols to describe something beyond words. Okay? That's what sutra does. So sutra uses symbols such as gold, silver, and 7 types of jewels. So some people think, oh, Pure Land has gold, silver, and jewels. Wonderful. So I want to go to Pure Land to receive those wonderful treasures. That's a wrong way of seeing, reading the sutra. You must use the words to describe something beyond words. Okay? Baswandel talked about these 29 virtues. Okay? Wonderful. But wisdom and compassion, okay? These are the 2 most important virtues out of 29. But Baswandel talked about so many wonderful qualities of land, many qualities and the 4 qualities. Okay? So this is the content of Baswandel, second patriarch's commentary on this Pure Land. Okay? So this is a text Danlan is commenting. So here, Baswandel says, that these kind wonderful, this is the fulfillment of virtue. And he says, these virtues, this is the pure fruition, pure fruition or effect. Why is this pure? Because this is a pure cause. This is a pure cause pure cause is fulfilled, and this fulfillment is because of this fulfillment, pure cause, and this the pure fruition. Because the pure, this cause is pure, fruit is pure. This is what this this section says. He says these three kinds of fulfillment of virtue, 29 virtues, are the adornments of the aspiration mind. This is aspiration mind, Hongan mind. This is the pure cause. This pure cause, because this cause is pure, fruit is pure, effect is pure. That's what Dandan explained here. Okay. Here, so this is the pure cause. So the Dharmakara wants to give this pure effect, okay, in the form of the name. This is the pure effect, okay, Buddhahood and virtue, okay. Historical Buddhas like Shakyamuni embodied this, okay. So they have. So this is the pure fruit is pure. This is the echo. Okay? He wants to actualize this in the historical context. This is the echo. This is the directing of virtues to the historical people here. See? This is the most important. This Shida said. This is the most important thing Dharmakara wanted to realize from the beginning. Echo. See? You want to have this actualized in historical and in the name. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Come to Buddha's wisdom in the name. Buddhahood, Amida Buddhahood is contained in the name. Because the Buddhahood is nothing but the virtues, okay? And not the savior, wisdom. And the Pure Land is the wisdom land, okay? 12th vow and same thing, and the bodhisattva. So the 20, all of the virtue represented by wisdom is contained in this. Okay? So having this realized, the historical existence of historical teacher and their words saying Naman Davatsu, and if the people understand this name alone, one phrase alone, people can have this pure fruition, pure Buddhahood, can awaken pure mind of the Buddha. This is a changing other power bodhicitta. Then this other power bodhicitta becomes this necessity. This without fail, the Shinjin becomes, Shinjin is Dharmakara's aspiration mind, initial. So that if once this is awakened, Dharmakara becomes Amida Buddha. Okay? Dharmakara born in us becomes Amida Buddha. We end our life by becoming Amida Buddha. It's the same process is realized here. See? So just by hearing, meeting a teacher, hearing this, see? That is one phrase. And in this story of Dharmakara telling us Dharmakara's faith, that name alone, if fully understood by people, could fully liberate all humanity. People don't need so many things. People don't have to perform practices. One phrase alone, one insight alone could liberate them. Because mistake is attachment to dualistic thinking, human wisdom. If people recognize the mistake of being attached to dualistic thinking, self-power, and recognize the truthfulness of the Dharma oneness, we are originally one with it. That's our original self. It's a matter of regaining our original reality, original self. That is oneness. Okay? That is Shinjin is our original self. Okay? That is one with this ultimate truth. But we've been creating this fist. We've been creating this fist. This is the fist. And we're thinking in this, living in this, and we're believing, confusing this fist as the ultimate reality. But it's tiny world we've been creating because of our attachment to dualistic thinking. And we are suffering from it. And we are not even aware of the mistake we are making. And we are believing we can attain some kind of relief, liberation in this category. But what this message is, the Buddha knows how stupid it is for people to be inside. So telling people inside is, come out of it. come out of one phrase, say, come out and get into the world of limitless wisdom, limitless light, limitless life. This is the world of the Dharma. Wisdom, compassion liberates us. Okay, Buddhahood doesn't. So we talk about birth in the Pure Land. You think about some kind of geographical place. No. Pure Land is a symbol for the world of the realm of Buddha's wisdom. We are born into the tradition of the Buddhist tradition of the teachers who embody wisdom. Wisdom is everything, okay? At the outset of the second volume of the Larger Sutra, there is a passage that is traditionally called the three-vow fulfillment passage that talks about the fulfillment of the 17th, 18th, and 11th. Fulfillment means actualization in the historical context. Shinran believes that this passage is the most important text in all Buddhist literature. The Jodo Shinshu is Jodo Shinshu, different from other Pure Land tradition because of this passage. Shinran read this passage in a totally different way from the ways other Pure Land masters read it. Shinran read this passage in a different way than Honen read it. Shinran read this passage uniquely in his own way. Okay? That's why we have Jodo Shinshu. Okay? This actually happened in Shinran's life. That's why Shinran has confidence. This is how I was liberated. And Shinran, this is a personal experience, individual experience. But Shinran saw something universal in this. So Shinran has conviction that if people are going to be saved, this is it. This is the way. If all sentient beings are going to be liberated. The self-awakened mind, the mind, self-power bodhicitta, we, human mind awakened, cannot liberate us. The selfish mind, the self-centered mind, awakened aspiration, that aspiration can no way realize to Buddha. If the cause is impure, fruit is impure. If the cause is pure, fruit is pure. This only the pure fruit, Buddhahood, name symbolizes this pure fruit, pure Buddhahood, pure words, wisdom words. Shinran experienced this. It's not a mere abstract doctrine. Shinran experienced it. That's why he has conviction. If people are going to be liberated, this must be it. That's why he wrote this book called Kyogyo Shinsho. He wanted to share his personal experience. It's a subjective and personal experience, but he saw something universal in that experience he had. Usually, nirvana is used and used without pali could mean the same thing. Okay, nirvana means out, out. This means the blown blown out. So the fire is burning, and then fire is extinguished. Okay, it's blow out. Niru means out. Vana means blow. Okay? So it means nirvana means a condition when the fire is extinguished. Okay, nirvana. So this could mean the enlightenment, spiritual death, enlightenment, spiritual death, or physical death. So this could mean the death, okay, blown out, something, extinguished. So when Shakyamuni attained enlightenment, we could say he attained enlightenment. Instead, we can say he attained nirvana. Enlightenment, it's a spiritual death. If I use this we have live in a deluded world. Okay? We are this old self, deluded life, deluded self dies, and the new self is born. This is a spiritual. Okay? So the nirvana could mean this extinction, death, okay? Spiritual. But when we say parinirvana, this always means the physical death. Okay? Physical death. The nirvana could mean both physical death or spiritual death. So Shakyamuni talked about the importance of having the parinirvana at the end of our life. So this means it. And then what does this mean? Okay. Perfect extinction. Okay. It's a physical death. So Shinra says at the end of our life, we must attain parinirvana. This means it's synonymous with we attain the Buddhahood. Shinra says we cannot become Buddha while we are alive, but only when we, at the last moment of our life, not after death, okay, at the last moment of our life, when we draw the last breath, last moment of our physical life, we attain Buddhahood, or we attain parinirvana. What does that mean? That means we fulfill our life. No more need of doing anything. We don't need another life after death. Shakyamuni never talked about the need of another. Actually, Shakyamuni said it's stupid. It's stupid to look for another life after death. The person who looks for another life after death hasn't fully lived his life. If you are to complete your life, you don't have any need to have another life. Like I've met something I should meet. I heard something I heard. I fulfilled the most important business in my life. Those people who haven't finished their important business feel, oh, I have to have another life. I feel something has to be done. I haven't done something very. See, that's the sign of bad way of living. Okay, so she comes and says, don't have that kind of ending. Don't end your life with karma. Karma means half finished, half unfinished. Okay? But having period, full stop. That's what means experiencing. This means experience perfect combustion. When you die, you don't have any more grudges, desires to accomplish. You feel, I finished most important bit. I don't take this, having full stop at the end of life. That's what I mean, the completion. Completion. You feel, so this expression, see, attaining parinirvana or attaining Buddhahood at the last moment of life. That's how we should live. That Shakyamuni teaches us. Shinran teaches us. See, both teachers tell us we must have the parinirvana, perfect ending. Full stop, full stop. Perfect combustion of human life. Don't have this small thing of fire. It's extinguished, but still small ring or something. It's not complete, perfect combustion. See, that's what that means. See, parinirvana, perfect ending. No need of another life. No need of anything. You fulfill your life. That's how we should live. That's what Shakyamuni and Shinran and Shakyamuni are identical in saying. Shinran says at the very end of only the Shinjin person, only the person who has true beginning can have the true ending. This means true ending. Okay, Shinran, okay? Shinjin person, because he has true beginning, can end his life with true ending. full stop.